Welcome back, everybody. Let me make sure everything's recording. I had some technical issues. Me? Technical issues? You'd never think. But we are here today to talk about Twisters, the legacy sequel to the 90s blockbuster hit Twister, starring Bill Paxton and Bonnie Hunt. Today it stars... Oh, wait, I had the names right in front of me. Daisy Edgar Jones, Glen Powell, and Anthony Ramos. Now, I don't want to give any spoilers, and there's spoilers right at the beginning of this movie, so I will say that Daisy Edgar Jones is a meteorologist that is working on not a cure, but a preventative measure against tornadoes. Something about, diapers and baby powder, and like basically a mixture that you drive into a tornado, the barrels release, and because of the chemical compounds, it dissipates the tornado. That's what she's working on. She retires from that, and 5 years later, Anthony Ramos, who is part of her former team, brings her back and says, hey, this is some crazy weather going on in Oklahoma and Arkansas. We need you to come back. Because Daisy Edgar Jones' character, Kate, has this innate ability to just know storms. She knows when it's going to start raining. She's like... it reminded me of... Amanda Seyfried in Mean Girls, like, I know when it's raining because of my boobs, but it's not that. She actually has this insane ability to read the weather, where she knows how a storm's going to turn, she knows wind direction. Like, there's about 10 scenes where she's just looking at the sky and she's like, oh, let's go to this storm. This one's going to be a big one. This is the twister that's going to, like, give us the best data. This is what's going to do it for us right here. And Glen Powell is basically a tornado wrangler YouTuber, where he just like gets content from driving into tornadoes, launching fireworks, being an absolute YouTube live stream bro. And they cross paths because, like I said, it is Tornado Alley, it is tornado season, and unprecedented number of tornadoes are hitting Oklahoma and Arkansas. I remember liking Twister. I didn't get a chance to rewatch it before the sequel, but I remember really liking it. I also love that in the 90s, you basically had a Twister have a personal vendetta against Bonnie Hunt, to where it seemed like it was like chasing her and haunting her from like she was like a kid and like her dad died from a tornado. So it was like this specific tornado, not just tornadoes in general, this specific one, the F5, was out to get her. Like it was some mythical beast. And we don't have that same storyline here, but it's somewhat similar in that they treat the tornadoes like they're animals. Like when someone gets sucked up into the tornado, you hear like it growl almost. Like it feels like the monster from Nope. Where like when someone gets sucked up into, Jean Jacket, he growls and like crunches them and stuff. Like you kind of feel that in this, where the tornado is an animal and it's like coming for you. It's not just, this obviously weather phenomenon that just destroys everything in its path. No, it's a sentient being that knows what it's doing. And you know what? It's a movie. I really like that. But another thing I really like, before I get into the actors, is that they show the human side of this. I haven't seen Twister probably for like 10 years. But I remember there's like one scene where they're kind of picking up where like it's like Bonnie Hunt's aunt gets hit by the Twister, and so they come back and her house is destroyed, and then they start picking up trash and stuff like that, and they find out how to do Dorothy, like how to make the little particles fly to like get the reading on the tornado. But in this one, they really show kind of the devastation and the human impact that these twisters come with. And I like that about Glen Powell's character. I like that about Daisy Edgar Jones' character. And I like that about the movie, honestly, is that's a big focus, is the people, the human side of this, to where, yeah, like there's tornado chasers, they're doing this for either scientific research or YouTube views or something like that. But they're also helping out the people that are affected by this. And Anthony Ramos' story in particular is a really good angle that I was very surprised they took in like a... no offense, but like a big dumb action movie. And I don't mean dumb in like a big simple action movie, I should say, is probably a better way to phrase it. But going into the actors, Daisy Edgar Jones, I think the first time I saw her was in that Andrew Garfield Mormon series. If you guys haven't seen it, what's it called? It's like Between Heaven and Earth or something like that. the War of the Worlds TV show, Under the Banner of Heaven. If you guys haven't seen it, it's a tough watch, but like tough watch, and then that's very like kind of very serious matter. It's about like a murder mystery involving like a Mormon church. But it's very good, and she's very good in it, and that's kind of the first time I'd heard her name. I'm sure she's been in other stuff that I just wasn't aware of beforehand. But she's really making a name for herself. And Anthony Ramos, I'm starting to come around in. I liked him in The Heights. Obviously, he's Hamilton guy. But this one, I really like him. He really stood out to me in a cast that has Daisy Edgar Jones. But we come to Glenn Powell, and he is really the star of this. And, you know, Glenn Powell's been around since like Spy Kids. People have seen him, and, you know, everyone has like a Glenn Powell sighting because he is like so eye-catching. And, you know, Top Gun Maverick really brought him to like the mainstream, like biggest movie of the year next to the biggest movie star of all time, in like, you know, a movie that was in theaters for it seemed like 6 months probably, that everybody saw and immediately bought on, you know, Blu-ray. And so everyone was kind of looking, okay, what's this guy's gonna do? Because, you know, we've seen Miles Teller before this, and this was like kind of like his big comeback. And obviously we know Tom Cruise from 40 years of movies, but what's this guy gonna do? Like, people know that he's been around, but like, this is gonna launch him. And he did the rom-com with Sydney Sweeney, and I like that movie Hitman. I didn't do a review for it, but I watched it, and it's really fun. Go watch it on Netflix. And he's got amazing chemistry with his female lead in that movie. I can't think of her name right now. I apologize. But in this one, he's such a good... Like, I think he's meant to be the Cary Elwes from the first Twister, but he's not unlikable. He's so charming. He's so charismatic. That face just lights up the screen. As soon as he comes in with his big Dodge Ram truck, blaring country music, lighting off fireworks, you're like, oh, this guy's got it. And I swear to God, y'all, this is not an exaggeration. That scene that you see in the trailer with like him in the white t-shirt in the rain, everyone started clapping. Men, women, everybody started clapping when that scene happened, because it was just like the most thirsty, horny scene in a PG-13 movie that you can have. Him and Daisy Edgar Jones have amazing chemistry from the moment they meet, and he's just so good. Like, I don't mean to make this whole Twisters review about him, but it kind of is, and I just saw the news that he's making Backdraft. I don't know if that's going to be a legacy sequel, if we're going to have any Baldwins in it, or Robert De Niro, or anything like that, but he's going to be in that, and I can't wait, because him doing Top Gun, this movie, and now Backdraft, like, that's, sorry, I got the hiccups, that's where he belongs. And, like, I feel like if this movie came out in 95, he'd be leading, like, 3 movies a year, and would be the biggest name, but because the industry has changed so much, he's not. And I don't care that he goes into comic book movies, but I kind of want him to stay away from it, because he's doing so well without it. But this movie is just so much fun. I had a lot of fun in this movie. There's like a tornado. I want to do, you know, the kill count math, like how many minutes per tornado, or how many tornadoes per minute, because I feel like it's one every 15 minutes. This movie's just over 2 hours long, and you're never like, oh man, when's the next tornado gonna hit? Because this is what I feel like. I like those legendary, you know, the USA Godzilla vs. Kong movies. I like those movies. I think they're plenty fun. But they've never gotten the human characters at all interesting. Like, even in the one I most like, the 2014 Godzilla, once they got rid of Bryan Cranston, spoiler alert, I don't really care about, you know, Aaron Taylor Johnson and Elizabeth Olsen. Like, they tried their best, but it's, and I know what we came for, but it's in the same breath, I came for Twisters in this movie, and I get Twisters, but in between that, I get these really great human stories of people dealing with their trauma, coming together, helping those that are in need of it, and that's good stuff. That's really good stuff. Like, you know, on my podcast that I'm doing, Podcast of the Rings, we just watched Armageddon, and I care about, you know, Liv Tyler and Ben Affleck. I'm really sad when Bruce Willis stays on the asteroid and gives, you know, his one last phone call to Liv Tyler. And we're missing that in big blockbusters now, where you can have your cake and eat it too. And the eating it too is like good human characters next to these big disaster, kaijus. And in this case, the Twisters are the kaijus. So it's really refreshing to see that. And so I hope Glen Powell does like 2 of these a year, and that he's always constantly, I made a list on Twitter of all the big blockbusters that I want to see Glen Powell in, because he's just killing it so far. I want to give a shout out to obviously the director, Lee Isaac Chung, the writers, Mark L. Smith, Michael Crichton, and Joseph Kosinski. Like, obviously, those last 2 names, but everything just comes together so well, and it's not overly CGI'd, and I love CGI, but, we really do feel like we're in Oklahoma. We really do feel like there's those debris whipping around them, and that they're moments away from death. It's some really, really good just movie making, and I had a great time with it, and I really, really encourage you guys to go watch this in the theaters. I know Wolverine and Deadpool are coming out this next weekend, but I think this is a really good kind of warm-up for your summer blockbuster. I love this cast. Daisy Edgar Jones and Glen Powell are great together. Anthony Ramos is a great kind of third man, and I feel like maybe that's not like where he belongs, but like not in the forefront, because I thought he was okay in the Transformers movie he did, but just like him being a co-lead, not the solo lead. Because it's hard to be a solo lead, Even Glen Powell's like, not the main lead in this movie. It's a good ensemble of characters, especially when you look at the original Twister movie, where it's Bill Paxton, Bonnie Hunt, Philip Seymour Hoffman, like this crazy murderer's row of like actors that became who they were after Twister. And I'm really excited to see where everybody goes after this movie, because it feels like another great launching pad, like for everyone. There is one moment where Daisy Edgar Jones goes home to visit her mother, and spoiler alert, it's not Bonnie Hunt, but it was most assuredly written for Bonnie Hunt, and it feels weird because it's even filmed like it's supposed to be Bonnie Hunt. Like, they know they didn't get Bonnie Hunt. It's not like the actor that's not Bonnie Hunt, Maura Tierney, shows up one day and is like, oh, you're not Bonnie Hunt. Okay, well, we have everything lit and planned out and blocked, so we're just gonna do it anyways. But no, it's like, she like comes out of the shadow and she's like, and she pauses in the light and like, hi, honey, you're home. I'm like, wait, that was absolutely supposed to be Bonnie Hunt, but oh well. It's really unfortunate. I like Maura Tierney quite a bit, but it's really unfortunate because it's obviously supposed to be Daisy Edgar Jones is the daughter of Bonnie Hunt from the first Twister. But that's okay. I really enjoyed this movie, and I hope you guys go see it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I've been streaming a lot every day, so come by TTV Strider on all platforms. I stream right here on YouTube if this is your most comfortable platform. But I'm on Twitch. I'm on Twitch and TikTok. So all the good stuff, guys. I'm going to try and do more movie reviews, more show reviews. We've been doing Podcast of the Rings. Our House of the Dragon episodes are on our Patreon. Go give those a listen, guys. I think the next one I'm going to do is probably The Boys. Maybe I'll do a review for The Boys season. It's a lot to cover, but I'll see what I can do with it. But thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good night, guys. Bye-bye.